What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kiwan, and I am back with Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 11, Episode 12. All's well that yells well. Make sure y'all make sure y'all click the notification bell button. Just make sure y'all do all of the things. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all going through this with me as I get videos out. I'm just not going in a certain order, so I'm just going to give y'all what I can. I'm going to give it to you. They coming, y'all. Be patient, please. I love y'all. So, the episode starts with Kimmy and Maurice. They're planning a trip for everybody. She's calling it a couples trip, but everybody ain't a couple. I just wanted to point that out. Kimmy irritates me. What irritates me the most about Kimmy, and I'm sorry, y'all, I didn't mean to. What irritates me the most about Kimmy is the moment she see Maurice, she starts talking like a baby. I have expressed that over and over. Also, this upcoming Saturday is the finale, and then we'll get the reunion. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Because, okay, yeah. So anyway, Kimmy is making baskets for everybody that's going on the trip. And he continues to show himself mighty because she was asking, hey, she can't have a couples retreat without, and his stupid ass says sex, as per usual. Maurice gives me, I have a little bitty dick, okay? And I can't. Sue me. So because they have nothing going on, they decided to talk about Tisha and Marcel. Kimmy was on point about Marcel. She feels like Marcel wants Marcel wants to call all the shots and for Tisha to fall in line, basically. And that's what he wants. And I want better for Letitia. I do, but she has to want better for her. But, longevity to them is more than, quantity over quality. That's what they do. Them two is quantity, especially him, quantity over quality. Anyway, Kimmy decided she wants Martell off the list. Why? Why, Kimmy? Because the last time we checked, I thought he was a good guy. That's what I thought. That's what you said. I'm sorry, y'all. Did she not say that? Because she said that. He's such a good guy. He is such a good guy. You said that, La Mama. You said that, not me. Until he showed up at your doorstep. Or in a fake ass podcast with the girl that your husband and brother-in-law fucked, huh? Or are you mad, as you stated at the end, you're mad about him talking about Maurice's DUI situation or whatever. Girl, you said he was a good guy, now you don't like him. And I watched different reviews, and I have felt the same thing as I actually watched the episode, but we all feel the same way. You said he was a good guy, but not so much. But I'm just saying, since he showed up to your doorstep. Okay, girl. So anyway, we get to the couples trip. It was actually, I want to say that place was really, really nice. Like, the rooms were nice. It was really, really nice. I thought everything was nice. It was quaint. It wasn't like over the top. It was really, really nice. So Kimmy gives everyone their instructions, and everybody, she shows everybody their room. Destiny takes this moment to remind Martell of some of the negative behaviors, and she asks, him, do she think it's odd? And I'm just paraphrasing, y'all, that the Scotts have him, I guess, staying wherever he was staying. And she also said that she thinks Martell and the Scotts would eventually get into it. But I guess. So Trish Trish is very quiet. So we found out that Trish divorce was final with that raggedy ass nigga Marquez, and you should be celebrating, but people deal with stuff differently. I will say this. I've talked to multiple women, and a lot of times, a lot of women will go and celebrate the divorce, that ding ding, my divorce. But I think she felt the way. I'm gonna say this, and it's just this is just an opinion, y'all. I think Trisha being married to Marquez was safe for her, and she didn't have to. As long as she was married to Marquez, it was always the excuse for her not to go any further with Ken. I don't think she liked Ken. Trisha, tell these damn people that you a lesbian, okay, girl? Tell them, okay? I feel like not being married to him and being legally binded to him. She didn't have to. As long as I'm legally binded to him, I can't go far with Ken. I can only be his girlfriend. I don't think she wanted more from Ken, but just to be his girlfriend. I think she liked the things that Ken gave her, like a good dad. The things that Marquez wasn't doing, being there for her kids. And I think that's what she liked about Ken. Kenny is what she called him the most. Trisha, she was kind of vague about the court situation and what happened. I guess maybe she couldn't disclose it on TV. Anyway, she really do feels away. And so Kimmy lets, sorry y'all, because I feel like I'm jumping ahead. But yeah, she was pretty down about her and Marquez being divorced. And I would like to know why. But y'all know Trisha is a known liar. I like Trisha, but the lady be lying a lot. So there is that. So we get to the fire pits and the poems. And Destiny made a poem about her. I like to thank me for me. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't see the me that's standing here today. Okay, yay me. And so Marceau was reading a poem to Tisha, and I promise y'all, every time I look at Tisha's face when her and Marceau in the scene together, the girl looks so checked out. My opinion, y'all, she looked checked out. Nell is crying. She thanks Kimmy and that boy that Kimmy with. And then Kimmy wrote a poem for Trish. And I wish that Kimmy and Trish would have gotten to know each other even further, but something tells me that Kimmy didn't really want to, unless they were all in a group scene. Again, I don't know why Kimmy's here. This should be her final season, but whatever. I just feel like Kimmy, we know that she really didn't want to get to know Nell because her and Nell don't really get along like that. But with Trisha, it could have been some scenes, and maybe they may have filmed some things that we missed. I just wish that it could have been different. But anyway, it was a really nice poem that she wrote to Trisha. Fletcher's poem was to Martell. Nell's, I did say that Nell's was to Kimmy and her husband. Trisha decided to dedicate her poem to her mom and dad. And as she's reading the poem, I'm looking at her like, ma'am, I still hope you're seeing Dr. Francis. Y'all, I took these notes a couple days ago. Okay, these notes been sitting here, so I hadn't watched any reviews or anything like that. But I was just like, I really just, not to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny, but I really hope she's still seeing Dr. Francis, because she still seems frustrated, and that all of that stuff that sits on her emotionally, the energy that she has, I really wish that she worked on it. She's a nice lady. She lies a lot, and that's not fine. She lies a lot, but I'm sorry, y'all. Ava. Anyway. So yeah. So anyway, it's the next day. Kimmy and Maurice talk about Trish being sad and how she didn't like they didn't like how Martell didn't join in on the poem because he didn't want to. Will is here. Why is he here? Like, he's such a big ass joke to me. And I don't know. I'm just not a fan of Kim. Okay? Anyway, the boat rides. The lady gets into one boat, the men get in another boat. Destiny, I'm so tired of the Destiny and Tisha situation. Now, can we talk about don't trust that whole box? Because she was like, Destiny was like, you basically call me a hoe. Just paraphrasing, y'all. She didn't. Okay, she said don't put you in a hoe box, but she was not talking. She wasn't talking about you being a hoe. She wasn't talking about your body count or anything like that. She was just saying she doesn't trust you. That's it. That's all she was saying. Okay? So, Destiny feels like Tisha is always challenging her character and the friend and friendship, and she said those things have gone too far. Tisha said she loved Destiny. Now let me park it here, because I always say this. I think Tisha. Okay, so Tisha is exhausting. Fine, I can only take people like Tisha in doses. However, when she did say she loved Destiny, I feel like she meant that. But with a mama like Wanda and a husband like, and I'm not making excuses, y'all. I promise y'all I'm not. But it's hard to want to be Tisha's friend, but I think to the core Tisha is a good person. I do think when she said she loved Destiny, she meant it. I think that she has a hard time letting situations go. Like, she's not settled in herself, so she's gonna keep bringing things up, and for everybody else, that's a lot. So I do feel like Destiny and Tisha have a great relationship. But I also think that maybe some time apart from these ladies would be great. So I don't know. I just Tisha said Destiny has to take accountability and speak directly to her about how she feels. And again, we're back on the Tourette friendship. I think this is where this stemming from now, because Destiny has apologized. Destiny has taken accountability. Destiny, I will say this, Destiny has gone back and forward being a bone carrier between her and Nell. I mean, between them and Nell, which caused up some things. But Destiny has apologized for those things. And again, it just ain't settled in Tisha's spirit, and she just felt like this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it. But I will say this. As far as Destiny, if there is anything you need to say about Letitia, tell Letitia. Do not tell her sister-in-law. Because I still feel like Kimmy put a lot of stank on it. But I also feel like Kimmy may not have put a lot of stank on it. And for TV's sake, Tisha's put in 20 on 10. I also think Tisha knows how to play up for the cameras. And I know that she's going to do that for the sake of moving a storyline and for the sake of the show. That's all. So, we get to the boat. The men on the boat or whatever. Marceau asks Ken if he's going to console Trisha about her divorce being final. Are you going to be a safe space for her? And I was like, Marceau, are you going to console your wife? Are you going to be a safe space for your wife? Like, I get what he was saying to Ken, and those are valid questions. Those are valid questions. But, sir, can you do the same thing for your wife? Because this is what your wife is crying about. This is what your wife has been crying about. You won't give her these things, but you have the audacity and you have the wherewithal, because you know just what you're doing. You give Tisha just enough. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying. So, Maurice said, about when he divorced Kiowa, he didn't think he was going to be sad after his divorce. Martell says he's still sad. And I would like to add, you don't miss your water until your well runs dry, bitch. Okay, because you dogged that lady out. And we didn't like how you treated that lady. Okay? You literally had a whole fucking girlfriend. And threw that shit in this lady's face. And gave this lady your ass to kiss. I was so glad when she left you. Okay? I'm glad. Anyway, I need some water. So, Marceau asked Ken if Trisha has a safe space in him to grieve over the ending of her marriage. Once again, Marceau, I get the questions that you're asking, but sir, can you be a safe space for your wife? That's what she was talking to Kimmy about last week. I would love to see how last week's episode, how that plays out on a reunion. I want to see that. So Ken said, it's not a challenge to him at all. Then Maurice messy ass decides to bring us spinning the block. Ken said, I had conversations, I done things, she done things. Like, I don't really care like that. And so these raggedy ass niggas feel like there should be a double standard when it comes to the women. When it comes to the men. So it's okay for Ken to go out and spin the block on a hoe. It's okay for him to do that. And he's supposed to do that because he's a man and he got a dick. Okay? I'm sorry. In the words of Claudia, if y'all watch the Messy Mondays with Carlos, deek. But when Trisha do it, it's a problem. Okay. Whatever. So, we get to Marceau and Fletch. Because I'm at this point, I'm done addressing the Destiny and Tisha. I just feel like they need space. I feel like if they're going to be friends, be friends. If you're not going to be friends, don't be friends. If you're coming together for the sake of the show, fine. Be cordial. Okay? I'm tired. The people tired. We tired. Okay? We is tired. Okay? We some tired hoes. Okay? Now, y'all not hoes. But this hoe here is tired. Okay? So anyway, Marceau and Fletch. So they get back. They have the conversation about Fletcher's license and how it's revoked. And Fletcher was like, you expect me to come to you about my personal situation that I'm dealing with. Marceau said, he was just thinking. And Chris said, that's the problem. You think too damn much. Okay? So this is when Maurice tries to jump in and say, well, I talked to my brother. Maurice, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Put the shut to the up. Is that Medea that said that? Sir, put the shut to the up. Okay? At the end of the day, Maurice and Fletch decided to kiss and hug and make up. Alright? Back with the ladies, because I thought I was done with that. Destiny says she's all apologized out for the things between her and Tisha. This wasn't resolved. Okay, I guess we're going to see whatever happens next weekend at the damn reunion. Okay. So then we get to dinner. Okay, this is where Kimmy puts her foot all the way in her mouth. Okay. So the guys tell the ladies, we did good. We talked about things. Kimmy felt like they just swept things under the rug. Kimmy says to Martell, she said, well, Martell made mistakes. Kimmy said, he was like, and they like, what you talking about? And so Kimmy was like, well, how you laughed at Maurice about the DUI situation. So Martell asked Maurice what happened. He said, I hit a pole, a tree, and an animal. And everybody laughed. And Kimmy was mad. Maurice said, I had a concussion. And Martell was like, they already got Martell started. And so he said, you hit a tree, a pole, and an animal. You lied. Like, just say, you lied and said you don't remember. And Martell was like, just say you were driving drunk. And so Maurice was like, but it was this Miss Bro. It was this Miss Bro. And I'm like, but you was driving drunk. And for whatever reason you won't admit that, because I still don't know the whole story behind all of this. I really, really don't. Honestly, y'all, I'm just as confused. Is it possible though, y'all? You can hit a tree. What did he say? What did he say? A tree, a pole, and an animal. He hit a tree, a pole, and an animal, and the charges was dismissed. And did you take a breathalyzer? Because wasn't you in jail and that you got out? I don't know when you got out, but I know you went. So your alcohol levels had to be somewhere. I'm so thoroughly confused. But they was arguing back and forward about that. This is where the episode ended. Here is the thing. Kimmy, you started this whole thing. You tried to push Martell in a corner, and the shit backfired on you because you're still mad at Martell. You're mad at Martell for maybe him bringing up you being. I think it's a plethora of reasons. I don't think it's just one reason. I think it was because him and Ariane interviewed that girl. I think it's because him laughing at this. This is not the only thing. I think it's because he called you a side chick and they had that conversation at y'all other group event. Like, it's a bunch of reasons. But you were the one who said Martell is a good guy until Martell came shitting on your doorstep. He was a good guy with his wife when he was doing all of these things to her. He was still a good guy when he was on Tisha and Marceau's doorstep. But now that he showed up at your doorstep, you're now mad and you now see who Martell truly is. Girl, go to hell. I can't with Kimmy. So yeah, I'm not mad at Martell. If you want to shit on Maurice and then he was like, I can laugh at y'all. Da, da, da. Well then, hell, if you can laugh at them about their things, then do it. Do it. Like, you don't like when the spotlight is on you. But just earlier that day, you tried to take up for your brother on some bullshit when it came to y'all talking about when him and Chris Fletcher was talking about Fletcher's license being revoked or whatever. You tried to come in and be Captain Save-A-Ho. Yeah, no, that's not how that worked. That's not how that worked. But whatever. I am so glad that this season is almost over, y'all. Yeah, that's all I got. This was a lot for me. This is your girl Q1, reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, and I will see y'all in the next video. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this episode and whatnots, and yeah, I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.